faith looks like, whatever you want it to look like, really, in reality, because whatever you train your mind and your thoughts to be, it will be, So taking that next step, people may not see it. You may not even see it next time, but you know that you've put the work in. You know that you've trained yourself and got yourself ready for that next step. You just taking it like walking on water. You just taking that step. You can't really see it, but you know it's there.
Welcome to the Heart Helper Podcast, a spiritual space where we share extraordinary stories from everyday, ordinary people, because we truly believe that inspiration is far greater than influence. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Heart Helper Podcast. I am your host, Jody Smith, and I cannot believe we are on season 3, episode 41, and I came across this artist that has a great song. This is Mr. King J, Mr. Faith Jumpin himself on the Heart Helper Podcast. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Man, thank you for being a guest. I'm excited to interview you.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Feeling great? How's your heart?
My heart is in great conditions, you know what I'm saying? I have no problem. I'm good. Like everything is smooth. Sometimes I feel my heart is too big. Yeah.
We're going to tap into that.
Okay.
We're going to tap into that. So let's get started, Mr. Faith Jumpin. So love the song, heard it, played it back to back. Doja was like, man, you got to interview this guy. He was like, he makes music that you'll like. And absolutely. And I'll be sure to put his music links in the podcast description. But you make great music. Where does this love of music come from?
Saturday mornings cleaning up.
Which we all had to do.
Mom playing music back to back, and then when I would go with my dad, he's just playing all type of music from the Canton Spirituals to Denise Williams to Luther. My mom playing the Temptations, and then just the friends that I had around. Like one of my boys I grew up with, we call him Champ. He put me on like my first rap music. I think it was like Dungeon Family and CeeLo and all them.
Yeah,
so,
that's good music right there.
Yeah.
How old were you?
It's all I had to be 2, 3.
2, 3, okay.
Probably younger than that. They've been playing music forever, but me actually understanding what it was, probably by 3 or 4. Then getting on the rap music, I heard it, but nobody actually ever introduced me to it until I kicked it with my boy Champ one time. And went over his house when he had the big CD booklets and stuff like that.
Yes, we used to have CDs back in the day.
Yeah, he was playing those, and he was just like, "Man, you heard this?" I was like, "Nah, put me on game, man."
Put me on game. How old were you at the time?
We had to be like, I've been knowing Champs. I used to go to my grandma's house for the weekends. He was one of my church friends, so I've been knowing Champ since a jit. Was in Boy Scouts together and all that, and played ball together at the church league. So 3, 4.
3, 4.
Yeah.
So when you made like your first song, I think it was Roberta Flack, and she was like, "There's just a deep knowing that I had." She was like, "I just can't explain it. It was like this itching that was within me, and I just knew I had to be an artist." Do you feel like you had that feeling?
I feel like I had that feeling for a long time. Like how kids be young and they be like, well, I want to be a firefighter. I want to be this. I've never had that feeling of anything else other than being great. I didn't know what that greatness was, but I remember I saw, it was a church band we had at my grandma's church, Mount Zion in Riley. Had a church band, and I think I like the way this sounds. So it started with me playing the saxophone in 4th grade. Fast forward to when I moved to Georgia when I was 16, after I came back from college, maybe like at 20-something. I used to always freestyle in school. I was freestyling in Alabama, but never could really find the flow of how I wanted to get it. Then one of my basketball teammates in high school, Black, he introduced me to his cousin. And I went over his house one day, and we just recorded our first song. I freestyled my first record called Grinding. And even what I was talking about, he was just like, man, if you polish this up, you keep at it, bro. It's
gonna be something.
It sounds like something, man. You just gotta keep at it, man. It was dope. So I was just like, all right, cool. Let me just be consistent at it.
Yeah.
And it's just.
And I feel like there is like, everyone has like a little something that God puts in them. Like whether you want to be a firefighter, a wrestler, a musician, a podcaster, an author, I do feel like there is a little bit of like a deep knowing of
Yeah.
something great that's within you.
Yeah.
How do you keep that flame lit? And I ask this question just because I come across a lot of people that have great ideas, they're innovative, or they're great artists, but it's kind of like, man, I'm all right, because they're not around the right environment.
Yeah.
How do you keep that flame that God put in you lit?
I mean, you just you go with what feels great to you, and I think each day I gain new motivation by just seeing my peers that I started with, watching them elevate, or just being motivated by not wanting to go back to, you know, the old life live, or just being able to want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And sometimes it takes a capital to do that. You know what I'm saying? So being able to move around and spread my message, but I'm not necessarily chasing the money. It's just more so like I'm motivated just off spreading the message, just seeing what I can develop when I go in the studio and just bringing out the good vibes. So that motivates me to just see people motivated off the motivation that I'm bringing to them. So yeah.
Absolutely. So when you created Faith Jumpin', what was like, because it's a very positive song. So that's why I was like, are you a Christian artist, would you say? And I know that you have different, genres of different music coming out. Would you say that you're a Christian artist, or would you label yourself as inspirational, or would you just not label yourself at all?
I mean, I really wouldn't label myself. I mean, I'll let people label it, you know, how they see it and whatnot. When I first started, I think I probably used to curse a lot in my music, but that's because I really couldn't find the words sometimes to put in those. Once I started reading and have a better understanding of life, then those curse words started to kind of get minimalistic in the songs. And as I progressed, it's just like they were just suddenly not there anymore for real, because it's just I got some I actually want to say and purvey to the people. So it's just like it don't necessarily take that. And even if it is maybe one of their, you don't even really hear it because of how smooth it's being said. It's not aggressive. It's not with ill intent. If I say something, it's more just the passion of how it's being said. Like, we're adults, we're humans. I don't think a curse word is the worst thing ever. I think saying I can't is worse than saying, the quote unquote curse words and whatnot. But I created a genre for myself, and it's called high-vi, and it's like high vibrational hood music. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna ever deflect where I'm from, but just letting people know that there's another side of wanting to get out and motivating people to do better.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's the goal. That's why we even created this platform. It's like helping people manage the mind, strengthen the heart, and just really manage your mind. That's the main thing, is like putting out the positive vibes. Because I see on social media, movies, music, it's so low vibrational. Like I had to check myself with what I was listening to and what I was watching, because I'm like, okay, you eat healthy, you go to the gym, but then you go and listen to music about murder, even after having a nephew that was murdered, Right. So looking at your music that you created back then, how have you elevated to now? Like, why is it important now to have that message?
Because music and words are powerful.
Very.
And I watch a lot of artists put out this music, and I see how the kids react to it, and I just picture myself I don't have any kids, but I picture myself as a dad or even an uncle, anything, and just having those kids or my nephews and nieces listen to this music. And it's like, how would I want it to affect them? So I'm making music that can last a lifetime, so that then when they go back and listen to it, they can see that their uncle or their dad or their dad's friend was talking about something positive, I left a message for the people to actually grow on.
Absolutely.
As to just, go around here and kill each other and feel like they got to thug it all the way through.
Yeah. And they say Lucifer was the minister of music. So I think that's why a lot of the music is so negative. But I do believe there's life and death in the power of the tongue. Yeah. So it's like you don't, we're listening to maybe Future, or I used to love Key Glock, so certain artists, but I'm like, gosh, we're literally just chanting these evil things, But living in the world, I know it's kind of hard to, not be in it, but how do you separate yourself being a light in a world of darkness?
I always just look inside, honestly. Like, I walk my path. I don't really listen to the radio too often. I don't really listen to a lot of other artists, and I filter what I listen to. I listen to a lot of my dope friends that I met on the path way of getting to where I am now. A lot of dope artists, like my boy King Elway, he put out dope music, or my boy Fleetwood Fred, like my boy Ransom Razina. It's a lot of dope artists out here that make dope music that's positive, that's bars driven, that's just got that grit in it, and still not talking about anything negative. So I just surround myself with like-minded people, and you get to a point in life where you have to learn how to have a discipline for yourself. It's just like not eating the right things, you know what I'm saying? So not listening to the wrong things, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, nah, I'm good on that. I don't like how that make me feel. I like music that make me feel good and whatnot. I ain't out here trying to hit a lick on nobody. You know, I'm just good energy, good vibes, you know.
That's what it's about. And I love that you said that you like music that makes you feel good, because it really does shift your energy when you listen to certain music. And I notice even watching certain things or even eating certain foods, I'm like, dang, if I just eat fruit and vegetables today, I feel so lifted. The time that I did stop eating meat, I really felt more in tune with my spirit.
Yeah.
So we're consuming so many things that are weighing us down, not just the food, but the music too. But I feel like we as a people could get further if we wouldn't engage in this, like, negative music or music about violence. Even I got to be mindful with my son, what he listens to, because he might think that's normal if he listens to that type of music.
Yeah.
And even breaking it down for him, like how everything's spiritual.
Yeah.
So you got to be mindful what you're feeding your spirit. So
that's real.
For sure. So in your song, Faith Jumpin', one of the lines that I really liked, you said, "Who needs a wish when your faith is jumping?" What does faith look like to you? That was my favorite line. I was like, who needs a wish? If you believe in yourself.
Faith looks like, whatever you want it to look like, really, in reality, because whatever you train your mind and your thoughts to be, it will be, So taking that next step, people may not see it. You may not even see it next time. But you know that you've put the work in, you know that you've trained yourself and got yourself ready for that next step. You just taking it like walking on water, you just taking that step. You can't really see it, but you know it's there. That's what faith looked like for me, of believing in yourself, having that vision. Because even with the music, I had a lot of people tell me when I first started doing music, you need to get a real job, man. You need to do this, you need to do this. And it's like, nah, you don't see the vision. Now those same people, even family, come around and be like, man, I love what you're doing. Because I'm getting paid off TV syncs or movie syncs now, or working with other artists. So it's just like people have to see you take yourself serious first sometimes but sometimes people are just not well equipped with that vision that you have. So that was a big thing and whatnot. So heck yeah, like
I love that you said that, because oftentimes, and I know I've been disappointed in people not supporting me in the manner that I felt like they should. Like, I'm like, dang, why are they not showing up for me like I think they should, or reposting my podcast? Like, I'm talking about God and positivity, but then I had that moment where God's like, I didn't give them the vision I gave you. So they're not going to see it. All I need you to do is just trust in the vision I gave for your life. Just like Donna Summer said, like that deep knowing. It's like, I know what's in my heart. And I can't explain that to everyone. All I could do is let them see it. You know?
That's a fact.
I love that you said that. The vision ain't going to be for everybody.
It's not.
But you got to believe in yourself. And I loved that line in your song, because when I went to church on Sunday, in Mark chapter 9, I think it was verse 23, it says, everything is possible for the one who believes. Everything is possible. It's in the word, everything is possible. And it just made me think like, dang, what am I believing? Am I believing big enough? So that same line, when you said that, it's like, what's a wish if I got faith?
It's a fact.
Yeah. It's like when you dig deep, I'm like, that's why I love art. I love music. I'm like, that was a deep line.
And I'm glad you got it, because a lot of people are listening to it and they just listen to it for the surface of what it is. But it's like, nah, there's a lot of people out here saying, man, I wish you success. So it's like, nah, I don't need that wish.
Yeah.
We know it's going to be, because our faith is jumping. Like,
yes. Faith. And that's why that song is so powerful.
Yeah.
And you didn't curse in it. It was a positive, uplifting song. And it was inspirational and it was motivational. And I feel like that's what we need. And I know studies show like the frequency of music affects you as a person.
Yeah.
Affects, even with Andre 3000's new album, a lot of people like, he came out and he was just playing the flute. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Meditate to it, sit in the sauna to it, because it makes me be at a different frequency. And I love the music that you're creating.
Yeah.
So kudos to you.
I appreciate
if
that.
no one gives you your flowers,
Hey,
you got
I'll
it on the
take
Heart
it.
Helper
I'll take
podcast.
it.
So when you're feeling disappointed or discouraged, because we're human and it's
Yeah.
going to happen sometimes, how do you keep your faith jumping in those moments?
I hate to be this person, but I go listen to some King J. I actually make a lot of music, and I mean, Doja's a witness of this. And a lot of people, they get mad at me because I be sitting on so much music. It's
What?
like that's a whole nother
That's
story.
episode. That's gonna be a
But
part
I
two.
make a lot of music when I go through things, and
Mhm.
then when I go back and listen to it, like it motivates me, and I just think about where I came from and where I'm at. Like sometimes, like you said, we are human. Like I do go through my daily spiel. Sometimes I do feel angry. I do feel sad. I do go through the feelings of a human,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I always look at. I was just the book I got today. It say your purpose is just read this book and I highlighted
What
this
book is
quote.
this?
This called 12 Notes on Life and Creativity. It's like
Okay.
a memoir for Quincy Jones.
Ooh,
And I
okay.
just highlighted this thing I wrote today. It say, my purpose is so much more greater than my problems. And that was like a major thing. And it made me sit back and be like, dang,
Wow.
sometimes I get mad at people for not being who I am. And I had to realize that people are not me and they're not gonna think like me, they're not gonna be like me in my heart, you know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying sometimes I feel like my heart too big because I do for people without, thinking that it's gonna be reciprocity involved, but I've learned to get away from that and learn to just, and some people use different terminology for this. Some people say universe, some people say God, some people say the Capricorn
Yeah.
sign.
God.
I'm gonna say, you know what I'm saying, like I don't mind helping people out and I do it off the strength of just love
Yeah.
and the passion of the game. And I realize that God is always going to have me in favor when it comes back. I don't look for a person to pay me back. You can't pay me back what I gave you because you don't know what it took for me to give you what I gave you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So God always send it back with just plenty of blessings and opportunities that, that I have and that's been bestowed upon me. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had a lot of great things that happened so far. So I don't really look back too often because I'm still on the path of moving forward. But the times that I do get to sit and reflect, it's like, yo, I'm great. Like I'm not worried about, my next bill. You know what I'm saying? My car note paid, my phone bill paid.
Glory.
I'm going to work. I got a tank full of gas. You know what I'm saying? We got food to eat at the house. We got clothes to put on our back. I'm grateful.
A blessing.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Even beyond like having things, like I was like me and my son, we pray every morning before we go to school. I'm like, dang, like I literally got eyesight.
Yeah.
I could hear. I could walk. I had a healthy child. We have food to eat. We could go out to eat sometimes. I could read. Like I have peace of mind. Like that to me is rich. Like if anyone's ever lost their mind before or lost their peace, you know how expensive it is to get back. And that alone is a blessing.
Yeah.
It's such
that's
a
the
blessing.
real wealth.
Yeah. That's the real wealth. Yeah. That really is. And I love that you said like to not think people are like you. I remember being like really disappointed growing up because I'm a Cancer and they say like we're real sensitive and loving allegedly, but I'm just a very highly sensitive person, always been highly spiritual, and certain things would affect me more deeply than others. My mom would always say, she's like, Jody, I wish that you would stop thinking people are like you. And I love that you said like when you do things, don't expect nothing back. When you help someone out, just know that you're helping God. When you feed the homeless, you're helping God. Don't ever let your right hand know what your left hand's doing, and you do it out of love. And it will, even if it doesn't come back to you, it'll come back to your children or to your loved ones. Like we are living prayers from our ancestors. I'm my grandma's answered prayers. So I love that you said that. Could get deep on here. And one of your visuals for Faith Jumping, I don't know if this was like a quote or something that you wrote, but it says, at first, addiction is maintained by pleasure, but the intensity of the pleasure gradually diminishes, and the addiction is then maintained by the avoidance of pain. And I think this is something that we all kind of see in, maybe if you're excessive drinking or excessive smoking or we've had people that are recovered alcoholics on our platform before. And a lot of times like that pleasure turns into a pain and you're constantly overindulging in a substance because you're trying to not be present.
Yeah.
Where did that quote come from?
I looked that quote up. I found it. We was trying to find something to put in the video that, that had meaning. So I actually looked that quote up and I found it. And I forgot who it was by. I think we put it on a video. But I mean, I feel like a drug can be more than a drug. I feel like an addiction can be, anything. Addiction can be a human, giving yourself to the wrong person too much that's taken away from what you're trying to do for yourself and whatnot. So yeah, like it can start off as a pleasure, but after a while you look around, you was like, hold on, I done got off path. I'm not doing what I need to be doing anymore
Yeah.
because of this coffee or this alcohol or this person, this family member that, it's what it could be a lot of different
Yeah. It's
things.
not
You know what I'm
always a
saying? So,
substance. It's not always like a drug.
mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, it was just one of them quotes that kind of stuck to me when I saw it, and I was like, yeah, we got to put this in the video.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone that is overindulging, not in just drugs, but overindulging in maybe food or negative shows? What advice would you give to someone that's still, vibrating on that level?
I mean, I don't really know what to get them, but just to pray and try to surround yourself with positivity. People who speak highly of you, or people who make you laugh, people that you enjoy, people that bring you peace, people that are not always counting favors. So that's what I got for that. I mean, it's a packed question because it could go so much deeper than what it is and whatnot. But just staying focused, keeping God first, praying, and
keeping God first.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, just being around positive people, what I'm saying, and reading, enlighten your mind, like taking your brain to the gym by reading books and whatnot. So yeah,
I think that's important. Of course, I mean, keeping God first, and I think reading, not just reading just anything, but also reading your word. Like, all of the rules for living are in the word. Like, I read it like it's a movie script.
Yeah.
But two, I will say, just thinking back to myself when I was excessively drinking, don't engage. Well, don't be around people that are going to see your behavior and not say anything about it.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of times, not only are you hindering yourself, but if people see you doing certain things or overindulging and no one's like, hey, I want to talk to you about this, maybe you're not around the right people. Yeah. And I've mentioned this before. I prayed the prayer for God to reveal, remove, and replace the people that didn't need to be in my space. And I'm telling you, within a couple of days, everybody was getting snatched left and right. And there's a different level of peace that I have now. So I definitely suggest that prayer, but also accept God's answer gracefully. Because a lot of times we pray, and when God answers, we don't like the answer. So we think that God's not listening. God's always listening, but God knows everything that we're supposed to do in our life. And we're just thinking of the present, but God's always thinking of the purpose. So keep that in mind. So tell you what I know. So how do you connect with God? For me, I know I read the Bible every morning and focusing on my spiritual being instead of my surface level. What are some things that you do?
I mean, for me, I feel like God is us, and just by even talking to myself or just knowing how to pay attention to the signs of the world and whatnot. Like, other day I was out, and I ain't gonna lie, I was angry at something. I don't even know what it was. That's how I know it was so minute. But this guy walked up to me and he was just like, yo, I know you. He said, I just can't remember where I know you from. I was just like, man, you look familiar kind of vaguely, but I don't really know. He's just like, man, I know who you are though. And I was just like, who am I? Like, and he's just like, man, like, bro, you dope, bro. You got some hard music. He said, these people in here might not know who you are, but I know who you are. Keep doing your thing, staying positive, man. Don't let nothing affect you, man. Stay away from negative. And it was just funny that he was giving me this message, and I was just like, dang, bro, you don't even know what I was going through today. And I was just like, things like that connect me to God, because I feel like those messages that come in those type of forms are messages that God, because I don't think people could just hear God in a sense like a voice, but he speaks through people. Yeah. He speaks through things that you do, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with this going on right now, you know what I'm saying? The questions being asked and the energy just being felt, that's something that brought us together some type of way, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Through somebody, you know what I'm saying? So God speaks through people. So you just got to know how to pay attention to those signs and extract what it is, because it can easily go by and be missed if you're not in tune with yourself and in tune with God. So that's how I pay attention to what's going on. And of course, it's always reading and stuff like that. You can feel a little more deeper like that. But I'm more of a literal person where I just got to be out in the world and feel the energies and whatnot. And then once I feel that, it's like, okay, that's why I came out today. Yeah. That one little message, that one big major message.
God is here.
Yeah. That was what I needed for the night. So,
but I'm glad that you could even recognize it, because sometimes some people would have went over their head because they're functioning from the surface and they're not functioning from the spirit level. Like, the more that you could die to your flesh, the more that spirit comes out. That's why they always say fasting is so important, because it lets your flesh know like who's boss, and your spirit being is able to like more so guide you and direct you. But I think God is like really subtle and it's like a whisper, but that was like God nudging that person to say, hey, go tell King J that, keep going,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's
you
a
need
fact.
that.
Yeah.
One time I was in the gym and I was working out, and for whatever reason, God was like, you need to go talk to this man. And I'm like, I know you lying. So I'm like, nah, I'm just keep lifting. And all of a sudden I start getting dizzy. God's like, you need to go say something to this man. I ignore it. God's like, you need to go say something to this man. So I put the weights down and I'm like, hey, sir, I'm so sorry. Don't mean to bother your workout, but I just want to let you know, like, whatever you're going through, it's going to be okay. It was put on my spirit. Is it okay if I pray for you? So I pray for him. And after I pray, he lifts up his shirt. Someone in Norcross shot him with a shotgun. And he happens to have stitches from like down his neck all the way down. He was like, they robbed me, and he was shot and didn't know anything about it. But he was like, thank you for your prayer. And you just never know.
That's a fact.
And that's why I say you got to just go with your gut, for him. I'm like, was it a shotgun? Or he was shot with something, but he had stitches all the way down. But it's like listening to those subtle whispers. You never know if he needed that message or not. You never know if God was trying to send him a message, because who knows? A lot of people are suicidal. A lot of people are depressed. And sometimes they just need that word. And you are a messenger to spread that word.
That's a fact.
Yeah, yeah. So you got a new song coming out, which I heard a snippet of. Guacamole with the red dip.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this.
Me too.
It comes out on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Friday. So I know you made, of course, Faith Jumping, and love that song. So this song is going to be featuring Michael Montana and Wenzel, which is an EDM artist. So this is a EDM song. So how did this come about to go from Faith Jumping to Guacamole with the red dip?
I feel like I gotta get a whole spiel if I'm gonna tell the story. So
go ahead, we got to.
The record started off as a hip hop record, and we're gonna drop that version on March 14th. Produced by my boy Matt Tastic and Trail Got Wings. We was in the studio with Michael and my boy Jabbo and a few other people, and we was just having random conversation on some Atlanta type of time. And my boy Michael was just talking, and I'm a great person to pick apart conversations, because I hear something, I was like, yo, I could use that for a song. So Michael was in there talking, he's Southside Atlanta, and he was like, well, I'm going to get some of that. He say, I'm going to Chipotle, but I be getting that guacamole with that red dip, motherfucker. I'm like,
wait a second.
And everybody had been making good music all night, and I was just like, man, I gotta make me one, man. I gotta make me one. So I had a beat from my boy Matastic, and I heard the beat, and I was like, that got that bounce. I said, yo, play this beat right quick, load it up. Nobody knew what I was about to do. When I went in there and did the hook and came back out, they was just like, boy,
listen,
you just did something, man. So I wasn't even gonna be on the record at first. I asked my boy Jabbo that he wanted to be on it. He said, bro, I can't even fake the funk. I don't even eat Chipotle. So I was like, all right, cool. So Michael laid a dope verse on there. Then we ran out of time. I came back the next session. I put my verse on there. And then fast forward, I was in the barbershop cutting hair, and I had one of my clients that didn't show up. Wenzel popped up in the shop to get a haircut for his show. And I'm just playing records. I ended up playing him an EDM record and whatnot called Baby. I ain't really put it out yet because I didn't really know how to market it, that crowd.
Yeah.
So I ended up calling the producer, Mo Diggity, and I put him on FaceTime with Wenzel before I played the Red Dead record and whatnot. And I let them talk and whatnot. We got to the Red Dead record because I just played like a continuous amount of records. We got to the Red Dead record, and I was like, yeah, this record right here, man, this is my Chipotle record, man. I'm going to get a brand deal from Chipotle on this one, man. He's like, word, okay, cool. He heard it, and he just vibed out to it. And he was just like, I'm sponsored by Chipotle. I was like, man, shut the front.
Really?
Bro. Yeah, I was just like, man, go on, get out of here, bro. Stop playing. So he's like, yeah, man, I had a video to go viral. He had a viral video in Chipotle. It got like 61 million views of him just playing the saxophone in Chipotle and whatnot. So
wow.
I was telling him me and Michael was going to shoot a video Monday. We was just going to bombard Chipotle and just take over and shoot a video.
I saw that, I think, on your page.
Nah, that wasn't the one.
Oh, okay, so, that was another video.
I'm going to explain that because that's where it get kind of crazy. So Wenzel hears the record and he was just like, yo, he texted me that night. He's like, yo, we can make this video happen tonight if you want. And I was like, bet, because I already saw his Instagram. It was like 1 million followers plus. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, bet, because I ended up getting him a free haircut, and he ended up giving me tickets to his show. whatnot. So what he did was he brought his saxophone in there. He said, we got to practice. I was like, all right, cool. So he come back in there, we practicing, people walking by, they filming us while we doing it. It's just, the energy was up and whatnot. So I was like, well, when we gonna do it? Because mind you, he had a show.
Mm-hmm.
So whole time I'm thinking the show is at Aisle 5, which is a smaller venue. Then it's another bigger venue at the Variety Playhouse and whatnot. So I called my homie and I was just like, yo, he want to shoot this video. And she's like, well, we got to do the logistics. I was like, man, forget the logistics. We just gonna do this and we'll figure everything else out. So we practice, whatever. He go back to his show. They all get there. My girl pull up, seeing her girl pull up. We all walk down to Aisle 5. And I was like, yo, my name should be on the list. They was just like, yeah, your name not on the list. And I was just like, I text them like, yo, they said my name not on the list. So they was like, well, what's the name of the band? I said, it's the Moon Hooch. It's like, oh no, they down at the bigger venue, the Variety. I was just like, oh, okay. Maybe I underestimated the situation. So we go down there and it's a packed out, sold out show, 1,000+ people in there.
Wow.
And whatnot. So he was like, yo, just meet me behind the building at 10. He left his show in the middle of his show. And we went over to Chipotle. We practiced one time outside and we just walked in. We bombarded the whole Chipotle and we just set a vibe in there. We went back to the show. He got right back on stage and finished the show.
Wow. He left his own show.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I respect it too because I've done records with people who, I'll leave it nameless, but I've done records with people who I've paid for a feature and they not even promote the record. You know, but then you get somebody to come in with this influence and they just like, yo, I'm gonna leave my show and while I'm on tour and come shoot a video with you and whatnot. So it just made me put things in perspective for real. Life is all about perspective for real, but it made me put things in perspective. And I mean, it's been a dope process of just getting the song together because I mean, I'm not gonna say it was the easiest thing ever because working with multiple people, everybody got different minds and everybody want a certain type of shine. So it's just like, I'm the type of person that I want everybody to have their shine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we handled the business on the back end, and it was a process of getting the song mixed and mastered, but we finally got to a point where everybody agreed on. And, I mean, he was like, yo, he edited up a video because we had, like, some GoPro cams on our hands and on his cone that he wear his saxophone and shot the footage. And next thing you know, he posted it, like, over on all platforms all together. It's probably, like, maybe like 105,000 views so far and whatnot. So I was like, that's some great influence and whatnot.
Absolutely.
So, and I think this record is going to set a precedent because I'm always stepping out on the edge with different sounds, whether it be country, R&B, pop, anything. Like, I don't mind, you know, as long as the beat is a vibe, I can create around it. So, I mean, I'm ready to drop the Red Dip record, you know, with my boy Michael and Wenzel. And shout out to all the producers that was a part of the process, from Mad Tastic, Trail Got Wings on the hip hop version, and then for the EDM version, my boy Mo Diggity and whatnot. Even the guys from the mixing, my boy Knots, who recorded the record. The vibe started at the studio where we recorded, and then, you know, Chef is my go-to guy for mixing. Earl is my go-to guy for mastering. My boy Mike, I Am My Photos, is my go-to guy for creative content. And we just been creating and just setting the mood. Like if you go to the page, you see a lot of the dope graphics that we come up with for Red Dip and whatnot.
I really like that.
So it's like, you know, we did the whole Alien because we feel like this thing is just out of space. Like,
it really, when I heard it, I was like, this is just so catchy.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for my son to hear it. I'm going to have to play him a clip when we get back in the car. But I love that you don't label yourself.
Yeah.
I really like that because when I first heard Faith Jumpin, I'm like, oh, okay, is he a Christian artist? And I kind of went through your page. I'm like, it seems like he kind of dibbles and dabbles in all different genres. And of course, we've seen artists like Beyonce do that because a lot of times people want to label you and say, oh, no, you just do R&B, you just do hip hop. But we're so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
So much bigger than that.
Major facts.
Yeah. So I'm wishing you blessings on your journey.
I appreciate that. No, I accept
I
that.
pray that, you know, everything that God's put in you, that you have the courage to put it out. But I feel like you're already doing that. You're already doing
for
that.
sure.
So in the next, I would say 2 years, you know, life and death and the power of the tongue. What's coming for you? What's next?
I mean, major shows, sellout arena shows, being able to give back to my fam, again, being able to give back and put into my community, whether it be my community here in Georgia, my community in Alabama, being able to give away free haircuts, being able to sign partnership deals with major companies such as Chipotle, such as Moe's, such as whoever needs
Kava.
anything done, you know, being able to get even more music sync deals, being able to be a creative director for other artists, being able to just, you know, so implant my seeds in other artists and other people and other endeavors that I choose to be in, and that, you know, the team that I pick around me choose to be in, being able that we can be able to not have to worry about the stress of paying our bills or something like that. So it's just like, I mean, it's major, you know what I'm saying? I feel it's major. I know it's major. Everything we doing is major. The world got to catch up and whatnot. And when they do, it's going to be like awakening, because it's just like, I feel like we bringing something that the people are looking for. They just haven't found it yet, you know. It's that music that really inspires them, to motivate them to get up out their bed and get up out their head, you know, and just live life to the fullest, you know what I'm saying? Because tomorrow is not promised, you know.
Amen to that. Yeah. And I know that, you know, with you saying it out loud, that's what I always tell people, write it down and say it out loud. Like, get around some people you could talk about your dreams with, because once it's out, it's going to come back just like a boomerang. No, so I believe it. I believe it. So to close out, everyone that's been a guest, I start the statement and you got to finish it. Whatever first comes to mind. Okay?
All right.
All right. It's nothing crazy.
That's cool.
So the first one is I am
great.
I can
do whatever I put my mind to.
I will
not fail.
Love is
God.
And God is
love.
Amen. Amen. Well, y'all, that was King J. Where can the people find you?
Everybody can find me at King, KINGJAI music on all platforms. King stands for keeping it near God. J for the go, AI for the answer. Music the right way. He did. So yeah, King J music on all platforms.
Well, I didn't even know that King stood for that.
Yeah,
y'all, we're gonna have to have him back for a part 2, because I feel like we need to do a book study or a Bible study. But guys, this was the Heart Helper. I hope that you guys have a very, very blessed week. Always remember, keep God first, keep shining your light, and stay encouraged. And whatever you do, stay encouraged. We love you. Till next time.